When I was a child, I had developed uncontrollable rage. Not anger, anger that led to rage. It was something inside of me. I could feel it building. I could feel it when, I responded to the person who I thought triggered my rage. And that was my mom. And I it was out of control and I didn't feel like myself. There are moments when I was angry or enraged that I didn't even feel like I was present in my body. I felt like something else had taken me over, something else was controlling me, and I couldn't get a hold of it. For the past 50 something years, I've learned how to dissipate that anger and that rage because I have healed. The conflict that presented the opportunity for anger to develop in me was erased because I learned how to heal and I learned how to address the conflict or the issue that created the anger that led to rage. In the relationships that I see, or whether it's mother, daughter, mother, son, father, daughter, parents against children, loved ones, significant others against significant others. Whenever anger is involved, I always recognize that the source of the anger is not an individual, is not a person. It's not the person standing in front of you that's pushing your buttons, or the person that is prompting you, or the person that's triggering you that is responsible for the anger that you have. That anger started long before that person showed up on the scene. Some of you might say, no, that's not true. But anger can remain latent if it's unaddressed. Anger is something that festers, is something that grows. From a spiritual perspective, sometimes I think anger can be a spiritual absence or something, or a spiritual need for something. And from that philosophy, I understand that anger is not is never the other person who makes you angry. It's a matter of self-control. And the reason it is self-control is because anger is derived from pain, painful experiences, painful situations, unresolved pain, or unresolved conflict in some area. If you're listening to me and you understand this, then you'll understand that the work that needs to be done to dissolve the anger or the rage is within yourself, is not without yourself. That's anger 101. But most people who are angry, especially because I do relationship counseling, right? And individual counseling, and people come to me and they're like, this person makes me so angry. And then after spending some time with me, they begin to understand that, wait a minute, I'm angry because of pain. I'm angry because of the triggers and the buttons that this person pushes. But truly, this person does not have the ability to control my anger output. The way you choose to respond is based on you. Anger is about self control or the lack of self control. Think about it. There are so many other people who are in similar relationships, similar situations, and people push their buttons all day long and they don't explode. They don't go from 0 to 100. They don't respond by wanting to cut the person's head off, or, not figuratively, or yelling at the person or trying to beat the person down into the ground. They can walk away. They can contain themselves. They can realize, wait a minute. They can rationalize in that moment and say, okay, this person has me upset because they're saying this and that about me, and this is how I feel. But most of the times you are enraged or you have anger management issues, it's because you're not able to rationalize. And the reason you cannot rationalize in that moment is because your emotions are all over the place, or you've allowed your emotions to get to a boiling point. It goes from here to all the way up here. So how do you get it back down here? You have to do the work. You, yes, you. It is not Mary that is causing you to get upset, Joe. And I'm just using fictitious names. It's not Ingrid that is making you angry in the moment. You have to find the source of your anger. Anger starts with frustration. It starts with impatience. It starts with a lack of just control. And all those things just add up. You can have feelings of not being heard, but everybody doesn't listen. Most people are not great listeners, to tell you the truth. But in a relationship, I hear all the time, I don't feel like this person hears me. So you lose your it because somebody's not listening to you, you have to practice self-control and discipline. Anger is something that can be controlled, it is something that can be dissipated, but you have to go to the very source of anger. When you think about anger, anger makes you irrational. That irrationality does not allow you to process, like I just said, your emotions, or to process the situation that is occurring or unfolding. Yeah, there are people who fly off the handle. We call those people quick tempered. Yeah, if you recognize you're quick tempered, then it doesn't mean that other people have to accept that you're quick tempered. It means that you need to find a way to deal with your quick temperedness and recognize what you need to do in order to not respond in that manner. A lot of times society, they label us and say, you're just an angry person. I'm here to tell you, you're not an angry person for no reason. There's a reason, but we need to find the source for that reasoning in order to apply it, and in order to address it, and in order to fix it. It can be fixed. One of the things that one of my favorite authors, James Allen, says is that suffering ceases for him who is at peace. Anger brings suffering. It brings about suffering. I remember when I used to be angry at my mother, I would walk away and I would feel worse about the action that I had performed towards her, whether it was yelling at her, cursing at her, screaming, or even trying to hit her. I felt worse for my actions after the fact because in the moment, I didn't really have any control, I thought. In the moment, I just let it all out because I felt I had a right to respond this way and treat this person this way in the midst of my anger. But that's not true. You don't have a right to treat another human being less than. You don't have a right to go to a place where you lose yourself, and you may be very much a great person or an awesome person. But when you get angry, is this inexplicable desire to just lash out, or to wound, or to even reduce yourself to a place where you feel like, you know what, it's happening to me. This person's making me do this. Nobody can make you do anything. Nobody. You have a right to control yourself. You can be in control of yourself. I wrote a lot of things here, so I just want to read some stuff that I said because I don't want to miss any point here with the anger. Anger never has anything to do with the other person. It is a lack of self-control, like I said. Anger is always the indication of internal conflict or pain or suffering. It robs you of peace. It robs you of clarity. When you're angry, peace does not exist in the midst of anger. Peace can be a result of the whole event that involved anger, but anger doesn't give you the clarity and peace that you're seeking, that you're desiring. If you want this peace and this clarity, then you owe it to yourself to start the process of healing. Healing is where anger can dissipate. Healing is where anger does not have any power. Peace brings clarity. Negative emotions can stop the development and use of spiritual gifts. Anger stops the spiritual growth. It stops the spirit from growing. And if you're this beautiful spirit that I know you are, and you want to grow, then you owe it to yourself again to go back and look and see at what point the conflict came, the conflict that tried to divide you and yourself, this great person that you are, into this monstrous creature that lashes out despite the desire to not want to lash out. Anger is also chemical. It can be a chemical imbalance. Some people, that are quick tempered, it can be chemical. It can also be psychological. But what can be done with anger is that it can be controlled. I hope I gave you some tidbits today. I hope you understand that even if somebody prompts you, triggers you, or forces you to get angry, does not mean that you cannot practice self-control. Self-control is a gift. It is one of the fruits of the spirit. Self-control is something that must be practiced and can be practiced on a daily basis. I hope that this gave you some gold nuggets and that this is something you can work with. If you're in a relationship with someone else who gets angry, if you're any kind of relationship, period, where anger is a constant, try to get that person to understand, or try to help them find the reason for the conflict that brings them to this place. If you are triggered for this person, you may not be the best person to help this person resolve their anger, or to fight, or to practice self-control. What you can do is stop trying to trigger this person. What you can do is stop trying to push this person's buttons, knowing that this is the outcome that will evolve. Be more responsible towards each other. Try to help each other get better. Try to start the process of healing. Don't be an advocate that prevents healing, but be an advocate that promotes healing. My name is Ingrid Felton. As always, thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. I hope that you continue to bring others, continue to subscribe to the channel, and also like the videos as you've been doing. Recommend the videos to others, and keep on coming. And again, your comments are valued because I like feedback. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.